So hello everyone, today in this audio class we will discuss the 20 most important interview questions that can be asked in the KVS and NVS geography postgraduate teaching interview. So we will discuss the chapter 1 Introduction to Maps from the book Practical Work in Geography, chapter 1 NCERT Geography Practical Chapter 1. So let's get started with introduction to maps. How would you formally define a map to a student? So a map is a simplified, selective and symbolized representation of the whole or a part of the earth on a plane surface at a reduced scale. So it is not a photograph, it is an abstraction. So for example, just as a blueprint represents a building, a map represents the earth spatial relationship using a specific scale and projection. Question number 2, you mentioned scale. Why is it the most essential element of a map? So scale is the ratio between the distance on the map and the corresponding distance on the ground. Without scale, a drawing is merely a sketch. So it allows us to perform precise measurement of area and distance. For example, if 1 semi on my map represents 1 kilometer on the ground, the scale is 1:1 lakh, ensures spatial accuracy. Question number 3, can you distinguish between large scale and small scale maps with examples? So large scale maps show small areas in great detail. For example, topographical maps or cadastral maps used for land records. Small scale maps show large areas with less detail. For example, wall map or atlas map. A large denominator, so 1:10 lakhs means a small scale, while a small denominator 1:5000 means a large scale. Question number 4, what is map generalization and why is it necessary? So map generalization is the process of simplifying the details of the real world to make a map legible at a specific scale. So we cannot show every single tree or house on a world map. For example, on a 1:50,000 topo sheet, a city is shown with individual streets, but on 1:10 lakh world map, the same city is generalized into a single point. Question number 5, how does map design influence the communication of geographical data? So map design involves the graphical planning of symbols, colors and typography. It ensures the map is user friendly and aesthetically pleasing. For example, using blue for water bodies and green for forest is a standard cartographic convention that makes the map intuitive for the viewer. Question number 6, if the earth is geoid, why do we need map projections? So a geoid is a 3D irregular sphere, but a map is a 2D plane. Map projection is the mathematical transformation of the spherical surface onto a flat surface. So it is impossible to flatten a sphere without distortion. For example, if we use cylindrical projections for world maps like Mercator and conical projections for mid-latitude regions like Europe. Question number 7, in Indian history, who is credited with significant contribution to map making? So during the medieval period, Sher Shah Suri and Todar contributed significantly to land surveying and revenue maps or cadastral surveys. Later in the Survey of India in 1767 standardized modern mapping. For example, Todarmal's land measurements were the foundation for administrative mapping in India. Question number 8, what are cardinal points and why are they fundamental to directions? So cardinal points are the four main directions: north, south, east and west. They are basis for orientation. For example, on most of the maps, an arrow marked end point to the north pole, allowing user to orient the map correctly with the ground. Question number 9. Differentiate between a physical map and a thematic map. So physical maps show natural features like relief, soils and drainage, and the thematic maps focus on a specific theme. So a map showing the Himalayas is a relief map or physical map, whereas a map showing the density of population in West Bengal is a thematic map. Question number 10. What is the topographical map and how is it unique? So it is a large multi-purpose map showing both natural like hills and rivers and cultural like roads, settlements features using contour lines. So for example, the Survey of India's 1:50,000 series is a classic topographical map used for regional planning and trekking. Question number 11. How do you measure distance on map with a curved path like a river? So we use the thread or an instrument called Opisometer. So we align the thread along the curves of the river on the map, then straighten the thread against the linear scale to find the actual ground distance. Question number 12. What is the difference between a sketch and a plan? So a sketch is a rough drawing based on memory, not to scale. So a plan is a very large scale drawing of a small area like room or building with accurate measurement. For example, a hand-drawn map to your house is a sketch, and an architect's drawing of that house is a plan. Question number 13. How do contours help in understanding the relief of a region? So contours are imaginary lines joining places of equal height above the sea level. So close contours indicate a steep slope, while widely spaced contours indicate a gentle slope. For example, a conical hill is represented by concentric circular contours. Question number 14. Explain the map construction and production. So map construction and production involves data collection like surveying or remote sensing, then compilation, drawing and final printing. Modern production uses GIS or Geographic Information System for digital accuracy. For example, creating a map of a new township requires aerial photography followed by digital drafting. Question number 15. What are cultural features on a map? So these are man-made features like buildings, railway lines, canals and boundaries. So on for example, on a topo sheet, a temple or a post office is a cultural feature represented by specific conventional signs. Question number 16. Why do we use conventional signs and symbols? So to represent various features clearly without cluttering the map with text. These are globally and nationally standardized. For example, an unmetalled road is always shown by two parallel broken lines in red. Question number 17. What is the a geological map? So geological map is a type of physical map that shows the distribution of different types of rocks and minerals below the earth's surface. For example, a geological map of Chota Nagpur Plateau would show areas rich in coal and iron. Question number 18. How is direction measured in cartography? So direction is measured as an azimuth or bearing from the north. We use a magnetic compass or a grid lines on a map. For example, if a city is at 90 degrees from the north, its direction is exactly east. Question number 19. what is the significance of representative fraction? So representative fraction is a numerical scale where the numerator is always 1. It is unit independent, meaning it can be used in any country in miles or in kilometers. For example, an RF 1:50,000 means 1 unit on map equals 50,000 unit on the ground. Question number 20, and this is the last question for today. So what is the art in cartography? So cartography is the science, art and technology of map making. The art lies in visual hierarchy, the balance of colors and the clarity of design that makes complex data understandable at a glance. For example, choosing the right font size so that labels do not overlap but remain readable. So thanks for listening. This is for today. Keep listening for further audio classes. Thank you.